going to start recording, and we'll begin with our next session. So take it away, please.
Thank you everyone. And this is my talk about DOAJ, and I will present some of our general information in order to highlight how you in libraries can use our data to make decisions about how to support these initiatives and how to also provide reliable and trusted information to your users. So the DOAJ, it's a directory, it's a list of open access journals. It has existed since 21 years. So, we are an extensive index of peer-reviewed journals from different disciplines, different languages, and from across the world. Our mission is to increase the visibility and impact of the quality peer-reviewed open access globally. And this is regardless of the geography or language, and etc. So, but I think these two last points that I'm showing here in this slide are kind of the strategies that I could suggest as for librarians to take advantage of the information that we provide to our users. So we index journals based on a set of criteria. Our criteria is a list of standards for any publication in any discipline to provide quality and ethical services that are based on ethics in research and publication. So our standards have been used for different systems and accreditation systems and systems of assessment of research in different institutions and parts of the world as a list of requirements to identify trusted journals. So it's not only the database that we provide openly, but also these criteria and the way we evaluate journals as a resource for libraries to provide information on trusted journals. Also, our metadata is available. So we have, as I said, almost 21,000 journals. And the metadata of all those journals is available in our website. So we are an organization of 21 years old, and across this time we have integrated and reshaped the criteria for providing our users with the most extensive list of criteria that includes, for instance, editorial processes, quality content processes, also technology processes and services that we think the journalists should provide to their users. So these are our numbers. Also, I think it is important to highlight that the DOAJ is a directory that seeks and embraces diversity and inclusion of science and research outputs from different types of institutions, sizes of institutions and countries, and etc. So we are small. We have a small staff to process all the applications and to conduct all the review processes that we have. Here you have some numbers, and we have a small staff. But as you can see, also we process many applications and with a low acceptance rate, because we want to make sure that the journals that apply to us really comply with these standards. As I mentioned, we are a small team, but also very diverse in terms of multilingualism, for instance, and the coverage that we have. This is us. We are a completely online organization, but we meet once in a year, once every year to meet in person. And we, to curate this data and to organize the information in order to be able to export it and to be useful for different library and discovery systems. So why these are the reasons why index journals and why libraries can trust in our data and our database and our procedures. So we demonstrate this quality by including journals that only comply with the standards. We include different languages. We enhance reputation of journals that also can access to different support and quality assurance certifications because of it being indexed in the DOAJ. This also reflects some of our the benefits for indexing journals with us. And we believe that we provide, by this service, we also provide services to users and to students and other people who really benefits from the database. And we have a program in different parts of the world, so we make sure that the journals from different contexts also comply with these standards and also are trusted from our point of view. So we have a very quite simple procedure for applying and indexing journals. They have to comply with different stages. For instance, the triage stage, where we review that the journal is completely open access, that is trusted, that has a quality control procedure, that has an editorial board, etc. And we have also, we provide services to publishers in terms of giving them feedback. So as you can see here, well, our processing time is 3 months, and our services are increasing the demand. The people and organizations and libraries and journals are requiring our services, and this has led us to establish team of people, a quality team, special team that investigates 400 cases per year, more or less, of journals that have these suspected or questionable practices. So we think that our role has evolved from a list of journals to a stakeholder and a stakeholder to take care of the ethics in publication. So that's why also libraries and organizations and coalitions have funded us since the beginning of this initiative. So 80% of our income comes from the community, and that's why we need to keep this funding to achieve our goals of inclusion and equity, trusted, our trusted position in the quality of journals of open access, and increase our resilience and sustainability. So if you have any questions, here's my email, and thank you very much for your attention.
All right. Do we have any questions for Yvonne? You can put them in the Q&A or the chat. I have a question. Are DOAJ and DOAB related?
Yeah, this is a very common question. So we are sister organizations, but it's different. They focus on books. We index only journals. So we share some of the philosophy and best practices, recommendations, and things like that. For instance, in terms of the structure of metadata and so on, open licensing, these kind of things. But they focus more or only on books. We focus only on journals.
Okay. Stephanie Larison asks, can you talk a bit more about how you are funded? Do libraries contribute?
Yeah, we have as I showed here, 80% of income comes from the community, meaning libraries and consortia, but also publishers and small, big publishers provide 20% of our income. So it's basically libraries who that provide the funding via different models that we have. We have a support page in our website. So I'm going to provide here maybe the link on the chat. But yeah, it's basically the libraries across the world who are supporting the DOAJ. Yeah, I'm going to share here in the chat if you want to know more about this, and also, of course, invite you all to look at it. We have different models and different pricing depending on the size of the library or the institution, so you can contribute.
And Lynn Parliament asks, do you provide the linking to full text or does the publisher?
Yeah, it's the publisher who is in charge of providing and exporting the metadata to us. But yeah, we are committed to provide the full text linking in our website. So if you go to the DOAJ, you can look at any journal or any article. You will see a link to the full text. But this link is provided by the publisher. Once they completed their application and they are evaluated, they are accepted, they can export their metadata, including the full text linking.
Yeah. And Susan Davis commented, I believe Lyrasis offers its members a method to contribute to DOAJ.
I'm not quite sure, to be honest, but it's likely, yeah. In the US, there are different consortia and groups of libraries and universities that are supporting the DOAJ. We are now expecting to increase that number of supporters from the US. Sorry, but yeah, I'm not quite sure about that.
And Amelia Rodarte, I'm guessing, asks, what are some of your biggest challenges at the moment or successes?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, funding is one of our major challenges. But also, I would say literacy about open licensing and copyrights among the community in general, I would say. So, because we reject many journals that don't provide clear information about copyrights and licensing to their users. So, for instance, they don't allow commercial usage, or they have a type of licensing, for instance, a Creative Commons non-commercial in one site. But then if you go to the papers, this is different. So I think the organization about information on copyrights and licensing is something that is being challenging for publishers. And I would say that one of our successes is the coverage and the ambassador program. So the ambassador program was designed to support publishers and institutions in the so-called global south, or in regions where journals struggle with different types of things, like, of course, infrastructure, etc., but also practices of quality curation. So I think ambassadors have helped a lot in that sense, and that's why also we are very proud of having a very wide coverage.
Okay. We've got a couple more questions. Johanna Reardon asks, how frequently does DOAJ send metadata updates to Ex Libris, EBSCO, etc.?
Well, it depends. I would say that it is pretty regular, but it depends on those information systems, if they are harvesting the information from the DOAJ. So it depends, but it is pretty much updated. We are also updating our database regularly, and so it is I would say also depending on the service, but for those big ones that they mentioned, I think it's quite updated.
Okay. Well, and we had like the kind of the converse question, I think, how frequently do you send metadata updates to knowledge bases collections housed in Collection Manager, OCLC, or Serial Solutions?
Yeah, I think, yeah, the answer is similar. So it depends on the system and how we are, how they are harvesting from the DOAJ, or we don't necessarily export the data, but the systems collect the data from the DOAJ, and our data is updated regularly. I think the database is updated every half hour.
Okay. And we have a question from Hank Young. Can you talk about the procedure for investigating predatory online publishers?
Sure. As I said, I didn't mention it, but we have a quality team, a special team that investigates these cases. So this team is also made up of editors and volunteers who do the investigation by looking at this more sensitive information. For instance, we have detected practices like questionable committee editorial board lists of members, for instance, of people who are not necessarily aware that they are there, for instance, or that they don't even exist, right? Like people or names that are not necessarily related to a person who is doing research on that field. So all these details we conducted our procedures manually, pretty manually. We use some information in some automated procedures, but in general, we looked at every case with detail, and with so the person in the team is assigned to any case, and then they discuss the cases in groups, and they double check and they validate the decisions from the person who is in charge.
And so you've got a lot of questions. We have a follow-up question about CC licenses. Did you say that an NC restriction isn't allowed, or were you giving an example of conflicting restrictions because of inconsistency?
Yeah, I was giving an example. Sorry if I was not clear, but yeah, exactly. It was an example of the inconsistency of information in the editorial policies or the copyright policies versus the full text. As an example, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and you have a number of thanks in the chat. So people are very appreciative.